Hello and welcome back to another edition of Teacher Talks. And guys, we got a fun one. Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid. Finally, I'm going to do a book review. I know. I said I was going to do this one. I was running out of time, running out of steam, but now I've got it in my hands and I have some time. Let's do it. Here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you the front, the spine, and the back of the book, and I'll read all those to you. We're also going to read about the first 7 or 8 pages, and we're going to talk about this book, who it's a good fit for, who it's not a good fit for, and why you might want to buy it. If you've already read The Diary of a Wimpy Kid and you like those books, you're going to love this one, in my opinion. If you're not quite sure about The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, this one is going to be kind of nice when we get to talking about the different levels that it's at, and I'll talk more about that in just a moment. First, let's read the front and the back. Let's dive in here a little bit. So Diary of a Wimpy Kid is a series by Jeff Kinney, right here. And it's about a boy named Greg. And Greg is kind of mischievous, gets in some trouble, usually not like terrible stuff, but enough little bits of trouble here and there, and they just add up, and he's sort of always in mischief. And he's got a best friend named Rowley, and this is Rowley right here. So the idea here is that the first 13 books or so, something around there, of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, were Greg writing an autobiography, or basically just keeping a journal of his own experience. Now this one's really fun because it's a twist. So this one is going to start off as Rowley writing about his friend, right, from his experience. And I don't want to do too much of a spoiler here, but it's funny, it's engaging. It adds a twist to the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, which I think kind of adds back in that element of something kind of a new twist to something that we already know works really well. And hopefully that kind of helps you out without giving you too many hints. But okay, let's read the back here. So here's the spine of the book, and here's the back of the book. All right. Hi, my name is Rowley Jefferson, and this is my book. Now I have my diary. Now I have a diary, just like my friend Greg. It's a journal, not a diary. I called my book A Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid because that's what my dad always says to me. You're an awesome, friendly kid. Even though this book is about me, it has a whole lot of Greg in it because he is my best friend. Sometimes my parents say things that make me think they don't feel the same way about Greg as I do. We do not like Greg, so they're pretty clear about it. Anyways, I hope that you like my book because I worked really hard on it, and I hope my friend Greg likes it too. He totally stole my idea. And I think this picture right here kind of depicts these two characters, right? That Greg is kind of like always mischievous and sort of playing little tricks, and just like, I wouldn't describe him as being like a nice, friendly kid, where Rowley's kind of the opposite personality. He's happy-go-lucky, like kind of has a positive attitude and a positive spin on everything. So it's really interesting and funny watching these characters bounce back and forth. Okay, we're going to read a few pages here, but let's talk about book level. So The Diary of a Wimpy Kid is basically, we're going to call it like a 5th to 6th grade reading level. Now be careful when I say that. All I'm saying is the level. And if you're in 2nd or 3rd grade, maybe you're reading 5th and 6th grade levels. I teach 2nd grade. Every year I have about 10 kids that can read text at this level. Now, let's decide if it's a good fit for you. And what I mean by that is Diary of a Wimpy Kid uses a lot of words which are a little bit borderline, like stupid, like dumb, like some words like that. They're not terrible, awful words, but at the same time, is it what I want the kids in my classroom saying? No. Is it what I want my own kids at home saying? Absolutely not. So you kind of have to decide, can you read a book like this that has language like that, and understand that Jeff Kinney, the author, put that in there for engagement and to make it that extra level of fun and exciting, but that you can't use those words at school and not at home either. All right, so as far as levels go, Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, like I said, with 5th or 6th grade, the fun thing about this book is I think it bumps down a little bit more to like a 4th grade, 5th grade reading level. So the good news is that I have a lot of kids in 2nd grade, and it means about half my class could probably read this book as far as reading level goes. Some of the kids, I have a few boys that when they try to read this book, all of a sudden I hear them saying those poor choice words. I give them one warning on it, and if they do it anymore, I take away these kind of books. So be smart, make good choices. This is definitely one to check in with mom and dad if you haven't done that yet. Or whoever you go to home to at night, make sure that they give this one a read and see what it's all about. All right, no further ado, let's dive in here. This one is the hardcover. They do make it in the paperback. Sometimes I tell you guys, definitely get the hardcovered color pictures, right? Especially like with those Ricky Ricotta Mighty Robots, Captain Underpants if you get in full color. But for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, these guys, it's going to basically be the same pages and the same pictures. They're not going to be in color, whether you get the paperback or hardcover. So if you're a little bit pressed on money, my advice would be get the paperback. If you have a couple extra bucks, I always like having that hardcover. I feel like they're going to last longer. All right, here we go. Hi, I'm Rowley Jefferson. Here are some books my best friend Greg Heffley wrote. Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. Okay, this is cool. Oh, I was right, 13. All right. We'll read them real quick. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roddick Rules, The Last Straw, Dog Days, The Ugly Truth, Cabin Fever, The Third Wheel, Hard Luck, The Long Haul, Old School, Double Down, The Getaway, and finally The Meltdown, which came out a few months ago. So hopefully you were going through those going, yep, yes, read it, got it, bought it. All right, cool. Hey, and then you totally stole my idea. So author's having a little fun here, right? Here's Greg saying, hey, you stole my idea about writing a diary. Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid. I wrote the words and drew the pictures all by myself without the help from a grown-up. This is kind of funny, right? Here's Greg saying, then who's this guy, right? Who's Jeff Kinney then? All right, having a little bit of fun there. This is kind of funny, right? There's always this sort of boring page, probably for kids at least, and maybe even teachers, right? And it says, here's some boring stuff they made me put in here, right? All the publisher stuff. And of course, we're just kidding around here. The publishers are obviously extremely important in this process in writing and distributing books. Okay, now this book is about to get started for real. I hope you think it's good. Trust me, you won't. And again, there's that Greg's personality, right? Rowley, always the cup half's full, positive. Greg, always kind of like on the downside, like you're not going to like his book. I'm the only one who could write a book. My first entry. Hi, I'm Rowley Jefferson, and this is my diary. I hope you like it so far. I decided to start a journal because my best friend Greg Heffley has one, and we usually do the same stuff. Oh yeah, and I should mention that me and Greg are best friends. I'm sure you're probably like, well, tell me more about this Greg guy. But my book isn't about him, it's about me. The reason I call my book Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid is because that's what my dad is always saying about me. Rowley, you are an awesome, friendly kid. Like I mentioned already, Greg is my best friend, which makes my dad my second best friend. But I don't tell that because I don't want to hurt his feelings. We are best friends, right, son? Gulp. Now that I brought up my dad, I should mention he doesn't seem to like Greg all that much. And the reason I get that feeling is because my dad is always saying, I do not like Greg. But that's only because my dad doesn't really get Greg's sense of humor. All right, and here's Greg throwing eggs at his dad's car. I don't know if I see that sense of humor either. Although, Rowley, look at him. He seems to think it's funny. Right now, you're probably thinking, hey, Rowley, I thought this book was supposed to be about you. Well, you're right. From now on, I promise there's going to be a lot more Rowley in here. The first thing you need to know about me is that I live with my mom and my dad in a house at the top of Surrey Street, which is the same street my best friend Greg lives on. I already talked about my dad, but my mom is pretty great too. She feeds me healthy food and helps keep my body clean. Scrub. What a good mom. Every morning I walk to school with my friend Greg. We usually have a total blast when we get there together, but sometimes I do things that annoy him. Stop whistling. And there's again Rowley, right? Happy-go-lucky. And there's Greg, kind of pouty and doesn't like all that stuff. Okay, but what really gets on Greg's nerves is when I copy him, so I'm probably not going to let him know about the journal because it's going to make him mad. Anyway, writing in this book is a lot of work, so that's all I'm going to do for today. But tomorrow, I'll put a little more in here because, like I said, we're best friends. My second entry. Okay, so bad news. Greg found out about my diary. That didn't take long. I guess I felt kind of proud that I had my own journal and I wanted to show him. But just like I predicted, it made him mad. Greg said I totally ripped him off. and that was going to sue me for stealing his idea. I said, well, go ahead and try because you're not the first person to write in a diary. Then Greg said, it's a journal, not a diary. And then he whapped me with my own book. Whap. So again, can you read that without doing that to your friends, classmates, or siblings? I hope so. I told Greg if he was going to be a jerk, then, and again, jerk, right? Don't love the word. Make sure you're not using it outside of this book. Then I wouldn't say nice things about him in my journal. Then I showed him what I wrote so far. At first, he seemed annoyed because I always forgot to draw noses on people, but then he said my book gave him an idea. Greg said that one day he's going to be rich and famous and everyone will want to know his whole life story. So he said I could be the one to write it. I said I thought that's what your journal is for, and he said that is an autobiography, right, if you write about yourself. But my book could be his biography when someone else writes about you. Greg said there's going to be a lot of biographies about him one day, but he'd give me the chance to write the first one. I thought that totally sounded like a good idea because I'm Greg's best friend and no one knows him better than me. So I'm going to start this book over with a new title, and now the main character is going to be Greg instead of me. But don't worry, I'm still going to be in it a lot too. So here we go. Diary of Greg Heffley by Greg Heffley's best friend, Rowley Jefferson. All right, guys, and then it kind of dives in from there, but I figure that first sort of 8 or 10 pages sets a tone for you and lets you know. Guys, it's an awesome, awesome book. You can look in the description below, and I'll put down there where I purchased it, and you can always get this at your local bookstore, maybe even your school or local public library. Hey guys, I appreciate you very much. If you keep on watching, I'm going to do a little bit of a shout out section for some of my subscribers who have been putting on awesome, kind comments. So stick around a little bit, and if not, we'll see you next time.